They have to maintain a certain level of product to even and service to even be on our website, right? So that is something, there's an accountability factor there, and that's great anyway because we do want to only like offer the best. It's not for every photographer. Some photographers do have business skills. Those are different, but they're different people.
How can you help us, though, continue to help you? First, please subscribe to the channel. Like us. If you listen to the audio version, leave us a 5-star review wherever you can. If you see our posts, please share those posts, share the content, and link back to our law firm website, which helps us to continue our SEO marketing and grow our firm and help small business owners. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the show. We are on hiatus for the summer, and Jennifer's our first guest back in the fall of 2025. So it's like September 5th of 2025. You're probably hearing this late in the year, maybe November, December. So thanks for tuning in. If you're listening on your favorite directory, leave us a 5-star review whenever you can. If you are watching us on YouTube, of course, subscribe. There's a commercial in here about subscribing and supporting, and we want to keep growing the channel. Again, and I always say this, if you are listening to us, anything we share is for entertainment purposes only. It is not a guarantee of any kind of success or advice of any kind. If you're ever making decisions based on anything you hear on the show or anything we talk about, always get advice from local professionals. So, Jennifer, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to talk about Shoott in a little bit.
Yes.
And so, but maybe you want to get into your background and your training and other things you've done. Then we get into Shoott later on.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect.
So yeah, do you want me to just launch into my background?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. How far back do we want to go?
It's up to you. Let's talk about, what did you do? I know you went to Penn, and I went to Cornell, so that's all Ivy League. That's all good. And what did you do coming out of school? Like, were you a business major in Wharton, or were you a marketing major? What was your major? You're like, no.
No. I went to the College of Arts and Sciences. I was very much an arts and sciences girl. I double majored in economics and communications.
Okay.
So I always kind of wanted to like do stuff more in the humanities area. That's kind of where my brain was at the time.
Okay.
And the year that I graduated, the economy was really bad. So a lot of us didn't have jobs. So the one job I was able to get, which is really funny, was investment banking because they had a class they had to fill and they had extra spots. And so I interviewed for it, not knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. So
that's pretty funny.
Just like ridiculous things like that. And I ended up getting it because I interviewed.
But they figured you went to Penn, you're an econ major, you must know all this stuff.
Right. And then they give you training to like learn all that stuff. And I thought I was going to die. And so I did that for a solid 3 years. And I went from not knowing anything to really getting very comfortable with it, but getting so comfortable I was kind of bored. So I did that for 3 years. I then transitioned.
Jennifer, were you doing like these analyst deals where you had to like work till 3 o'clock in the morning and then go home and shower for 4 hours and come back to work? I had friends doing this.
Yeah, sometimes we did. Yeah.
Right. Because you had deals, you had deadlines, right?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, your managing director was able to go home at like 7 or whatever. And then you were like, okay, I guess it's time for me to order dinner.
Yeah. Work all night. But you get burned out real quick, a couple of years. You
do get burned out real quick. At the same time, at that age, you're like, what I told myself was, I'm like, what else am I going to be doing with my time? So I might as well be learning and challenging myself and whatever. That's what I had to tell myself to do it. And at the same time, I also had a lot of really good friends because I think, we all trauma bonded there.
Right. Yeah,
so it was, when you're staying late, it's not like you're by yourself. You're with other people doing the same thing and you just end up having a lot of fun. So to that end, it was a fun environment, but I did, 3 years and I was done for sure.
Yeah.
And then I decided to transition to something a little less intense. So I decided, I'm like, what if I do strategic finance for, a Fortune 500 company? So I worked for Amex doing that.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, I did that for about 2 years. I was like, I'm still really bored. So then that's when I decided to really try all sorts of different things and explore jobs of all different colors, as I like to say.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did I break up?
I think I lost you a little bit. Yeah, you're having some connection problems.
Am I? That's so.
Are you back?
I'm sorry. I think so. I usually don't.
Okay.
So you never know.
All right, you're back now.
Okay, good. Sorry. What's the last thing you heard? What's the last thing you heard?
You went into strategic finance with Amex, and then you were doing all kinds of other things, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, "Well, let me see what else is out there because 'cause I've done the corporate thing, and the corporate thing is really boring to me, at least after you learn what it is." So I was like, "Well, let me try everything under the sun that I can kind of try." So, like, I did, I produced a documentary, I took acting class, I took dance class, I took writing class, I whitened teeth, I nannered, nannied,
What?
I tutored. I really tried everything to be like, what is it like to live all these different lives to see what I enjoy? And so I did
Okay.
that for a solid amount of time, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to acting conservatory to like really study that. So I did that for 2 years. And then after I
Okay.
came out, I was like, well, I want to pursue acting, but I also need to get day jobs. So let me leverage off the skills I had before because I don't think I'm kind of the type to wait tables. So I I worked for a startup doing random stuff for them. I worked for a hedge fund doing random stuff for them. So I like, whether it was like front desk stuff or like administrative stuff, I did that for a while too. And then I kind of was like figuring out what really fit until I stumbled upon the opportunity to work with Shoot.
Got it. So okay, so it makes sense because you're kind of in the creative
Yeah.
arena
Yeah.
because shoot being photography and everything like that. So what was it that kind of yeah, tell me what the metamorphosis of shoot like where did it come about? You're like you saw something that was missing and you're like, "Oh, I can provide a better service for all these people," or what was it?
I mean, I think for me, I was like, I'm really looking for an opportunity where I can blend my business background and my arts background in some way, shape, or form, right?
Okay.
And there was always this reality that when I was working as an actor, so many of my friends were living super paycheck to paycheck, no matter how talented they were. Like, so I had a
Right.
friend who had like $2 to his name, and he was like the lead of the play that I was in.
Yeah.
And I had to loan him money and everything for just to like buy a six pack
There's a
to
lot of
celebrate his
starving
birthday.
artists out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, that's is there some business model that can create more work for artists so that they're not dying to always find the next gig?
Yeah.
So when I was acting and kind of working other jobs, I was like, maybe I should kind of return to the startup space because that's where they really need my skills, and it kind of is a really great fit. So
Okay.
I reached out to a serial entrepreneur that I had worked for before, to be like, hey, can you be my reference? And also, if you know of any startups hiring, let me know. And we got reconnected through that. And he was like, I want to do a new startup. And so we brainstormed and talked about my experiences, everything. We were like, oh, if we want to consolidate gigs and kind of make gigs for artists, we can't necessarily do it for acting, but we can do it for photographers. So and we're like, well, that's kind of where the idea is. What if we pursue that? And so that's the impetus of Shoot.
So it's kind of help them grow their business and manage their business and
Yeah.
get
How do
gigs
you how do
and
you drive demand to them? What if we do
right.
basically everything else? So all they have to do is photograph. So like, you separate the business from the art, and they can focus on art, and we handle all aspects of the business, finding clients, doing sales, figuring out legal, accounting, all of that stuff. So they just have to show up, scheduling for them, all of that stuff, permits. And so that
Right.
was the
Oh, really? You
hypothesis.
do everything. Like you
Yes.
plan the shoot, but they have to go and set up the shoot, right? I mean,
Yes, they have to go with just like their camera, and
that's it.
it's out. Yeah, and they're outdoor shoots, so they just bring their camera and they just do what they love, is what we say. They can just focus on that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess with actors, you can't.
No,
There's no mechanism to drive gigs to them, right?
yeah,
Like it's just a different kind of
you'd have to like
industry.
make a thing. Like, there's not this thing where people would need photo shoots. So like for us, the whole thing was, if we send a photographer, like if we know a photographer can go to this particular intersection in Central Park from
Right.
12 to 5, and then we have half an hour bookable slots, do people need photo shoots enough? Do they want them enough to go and book one of those things? And we figured out the answer was yes.
Okay. And a
Because
lot of them are
we were
like
generating
headshot type of
volume,
stuff. Yeah.
we were able to consolidate demand. Oh my God. Hi,
No,
I'm
you're
so
back.
sorry. Does my internet keep going out?
Well, I'm not sure, but later on, once it's recorded, it'll be corrected, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Exactly.
So I should just keep
So
talking as if everything's normal?
yeah, exactly. Just
Oh,
keep
I'm
talking.
sorry. Okay.
Unless we get disconnected. That's happened one time. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
figure it out. So
Okay.
I understand. So with Shoot, you could like create. like a, not a venue, but like a shoot, like a day's worth of shoots, and then you can promote that and kind of sell, right? If you get enough photographers to say, "Oh, I'll come and shoot headshots or whatever in the park in Union Square or whatever,"
Mhm.
then you can put that out there as an offer to someone who wants to have.
Yes, they're
So you're
bookable.
kind
They're
of
bookable photo shoots where people can use them for families, for
got
holiday
it.
cards, for engagement, for maternity, for anything. And so their photographers are basically giving us their supply. We're figuring out how to advertise, put it on our platform, everything, and then we're in charge of getting the demand for them. So they don't have to do their marketing themselves. They don't have to do customer service. Like we handle all of that.
All
It's
the
meant for
business
them.
stuff.
Yes, they just are meant to show up with their camera and just focus on their photography.
That is genius. So, I understand within the acting world, there's no way to create. You can't create the product. Like, how do you access all of these different
Yeah.
shoots? And right, there's
Yeah.
no like
No one like
marketplace.
wants you to show up and do a monologue for them for no reason. Like it's just
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's like
yeah. You
it's
can't.
harder
Right.
to, yeah, it's
The
harder to
connection's
manufacture
much
that.
harder to make, right? So,
Yeah.
but I mean, look, there is demand, right? And
Yeah.
that there are people that want to act, but you bringing them together is harder. So, photographers, though, you can reach right through social media or whatever.
Mhm.
So, does a photographer who signs up say, Jennifer, I want to do a shoot in Central Park on this date, and then you go, okay, and then you try and fill it?
Mm.
Or is it like, listen, we're looking to do a shoot in Central Park on this date, and you get the photographers and you get the people? Like, how does
No,
that
the
work?
photographers come first. So the
Okay.
photographers come first, and also our research in a different in any city where we're like, oh, these are our top booking places, and then we rotate
Okay.
them. And so we're like, okay, we want to send somebody to Soho and then Central Park this weekend. So, and then our photographers are able to sign up for that. If they want to
Oh, so
also,
they can sign up. They don't
yes,
have to come up with the venue themselves.
no, no, we have like because we're in charge of getting permits and figuring out scheduling, and we have like a lot of
Got it.
analysis about what people like. So like
Got it.
if in New York it's like everyone wants to go to Central Park or Dumbo, and so we'll offer those very consistently. Um, and yeah, like in certain neighborhoods, like because they're close to so many families, they book up really fast.
Yeah.
So we know all that stuff. So that's how we offer the schedule, and they sign up for things that work for their schedule.
That's phenomenal because I always have like, I need updated headshots, or I have colleagues that need updated headshots,
Right.
or my kids are getting into business. And you find like a local photographer and he puts you up with a backdrop. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
You get some backdrop, and usually being outdoors is much nicer.
Yes. It you
So
look more
if my
organic
daughter
with those,
wanted to
yes.
get headshots in central, in the village,
Mhm.
and she saw that you guys had something posted, she could just sign up
Yeah.
and go.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So, okay. So, is there, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but we'll
Okay.
jump around. Okay.
That's fine.
Are there like other industries that this business model could work for in the creative space? Like,
We were thinking about that because, like,
yeah,
we had to build all our own proprietary solutions,
I'm sure.
just to make it work well and efficiently. And we were like, oh, can we do it for tutors? Can we do it for like classes or like anything where people are trying to create more demand for their thing?
Yeah.
Is
You're like
like,
ClassPass for
yeah,
photographers.
yeah. It's like ClassPass, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah,
Except that,
for sure.
people signing up might buy a ClassPass and they can sign up for all kinds of stuff. In this
Yeah,
case, how many shoots you're going to sign up for, right? You're going to
yeah,
do like
yeah, yeah,
one for with you and your fiance, but
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So are there other did you come up with anything so far?
So, I mean, we were thinking about like, oh, like stuff to do in your area. Like if there's art class or wine tasting or whatever, and people have excess capacity, like can we try to use and leverage our technology for that? We're still trying to figure out if there is like a great fit because like we know we can provide the technology. It's just whether or not we have the community to do that. Like
Right.
there is a demand, but like how do how do you kind of really match the two? Um so that's still TBD.
Yeah. But it's interesting because you built a business that creates a marketplace for
Mhm.
both sides, and then you're running the whole bridge.
Yeah.
The connection of the people, the booking,
Yeah.
the permits obviously are an issue, right? Being outside, insurance, all
Yeah.
the stuff that I meet creative people all the time, and they have no business skills whatsoever.
Mhm.
They don't even want to have business skills, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Right? That's the
Yeah.
biggest problem with the creative, is that they don't want to deal with finance and paying the bills and staying
Yeah.
on top of things and getting their permits and following the law and have anything in writing, right?
Yeah, totally. It's a different brain, right? Not and like and I don't
It is.
I don't know if everyone should be expected to be good at everything. I think that's a little bit silly.
Yeah,
So,
I
in
agree.
order, if you're able to really carve out your time and figure out like, oh, I'm really good at this. Can someone solve these things for you? If you're able to do that, you could just, you focus more on what you're doing that you love. You get better at what you do. You can charge more for what you do. Like all of those things you should be doing for sure,
Right.
is how
Right.
I see it.
Well, I was looking at like one of the four main things of a business plan should be your people. And that doesn't mean that you should be doing everything. As a
Yeah,
matter of fact, it should be the opposite, right? You should figure
I
out,
know.
right, what am I best at? And then how in the world do I get to the point where I can, you know, hire people to do things? Like I used to do everything for the
I know.
podcast all myself. The editing, I didn't do anything with video, the editing, the this, the that. And then when I first hired a VA like a year and a half ago, my like life changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have to practice law too. So this is not like my business.
Oh, right.
So, so it's even worse. But
Yeah.
you basically could take, and I guess most of them are solos, right? Solo
Yeah.
photographers, and they're in business like the day they start with you.
Yeah.
They don't have to figure any of it out. They don't even
No.
need a business plan, which is totally contrary to everything I tell people.
Yeah.
Your platform has eliminated the need for a photographer to have any sort of business plan. They just have to stay on your website, see the next thing they're going to sign up for. I'm in Dumbo, like you said, or in Greenpoint or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And show up.
Yeah.
They have to maintain their cameras, but you don't even need film today, so it's all digital. So you don't even need that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You don't have to. Maybe I guess they have to deliver the product, right? So that's not on
Yes.
you guys.
So they have to maintain a certain level of product to even and service to even be on our website, right? So that is
Right.
something, there's an accountability factor there, and that's great
Right.
anyway because we do want to only like offer the best. But yeah, like it's not for every photographer. Some photographers do have business skills. Those are different, but they're different people. And I think we're a great source of supplemental income, and there's a lot of people who use us for like various things. So they could have a regular day job, but they're just really talented photographers. Then they
Yeah.
get supplemental income for themselves. Really kind of great
Right.
opportunity. It's so hard sometimes to make supplemental income easily. And if you
It
have the
is.
skill, why not? Like just show up
Right.
and do it. And then, or I knew someone who was a professional photographer and wanted to transition to opening up his own tattoo studio. And so he worked with us a lot to do that
Got it.
and be able to fund and like um get a start the capital for his tattoo studio, and he's doing that now, and he's super grateful to us and we're grateful to him. Like it's
Yeah.
a very symbiotic relationship. So yeah, we do love what we do.
Yeah. So if you have a job 9 to 5, and on Saturdays you want to make extra money, and you're good
Exactly.
at photography,
Yeah.
great way to get started. So, but they still have to deliver the prints to the, like if they
We
have a
have
couple,
yeah.
what do you do? So I go with my fiance. I'm married, but I go with my
Yeah.
fiance, and we had, I don't know who it was who took well, we were in Central Park and we
Yeah.
took photographs there. It's in a book now. I can't
Yes.
tell you who did it. I think it was our wedding photographer. But anyway, we had to go to their place. We had to pick stuff out. They helped us
Yes.
put a book together. They have to do that, right?
So basically, what we have a proprietary platform that they upload their photos and we deliver the photos to the client. So we actually manage that too. So like literally, like they just have to take the photos, edit their photos, upload it to our platform.
And
We
that's it.
deliver it. We deal with all the client complaints if they have any sort of back and forth. We kind of manage that whole process. We try to minimize like extra work they have to do afterwards. Like we try to really, yeah. And then we also have things like like print packages, so
Yeah.
they get digital photos, but they can also get a photo
An
book
album,
or
right?
holiday
Yeah.
cards or whatever. So again, they don't have to do extra work.
Okay. So you have relationships to do that. You're obviously not doing, you don't have a warehouse somewhere where you're printing photos.
Right, we do.
So
Yes, we have partners. We have great partners that
got it.
help, because I was like, I don't really care to figure out the business of
Yeah.
print on
But
top of
makes
what
no
we do.
sense.
Yeah,
Right. No, it's contrary to your whole model. Do what you're
absolutely.
good at, right? Not what
Yes,
you, right. Not
somebody
everything.
else has economies of scale there, so that's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I met a guy, I think he was on the show, who had a platform like before um, Shutterfly came about, and he
Mm.
still has it. It's called like, it's not called Shoott,
Snapfish.
obviously.
Oh,
What?
Snapfish.
Maybe something like that. But it was
Okay.
very early on. He still has the business, and he didn't grow it like Shutterfly. But it was the same type of thing where they were upload their photos and they could do anything they want with them, and it was a
Yeah, yeah.
do-it-yourself type of thing. So here's the question, right? Because you weren't necessarily a business major, neither was I, but we were both econ majors at school, right? And we came out of a top university, and you come out and you start a business, and everybody tells you what you're supposed to be doing, right? Writing a business plan or whatever. So explain to me, because your business has a lot of working parts, right?
Yeah.
How do you start by, like, is the word storyboarding or whatever, like sketching out this business from an idea to the ins and outs of running the business? Like, how did that happen? How did it go? How did it take? What problems do you have? Because before you say anything, do you know how many people come to me with seemingly good ideas, and I'm like, there's no way you can execute this. Like, you haven't even answered the question, like, where your customers are coming from. So tell me
Yeah.
about that.
So this is like a weird skill of mine is, and I actually never thought I would be the CEO, because to me, I thought of it like, I if you have an idea, I can hear it and be like, I know how to make that reality.
Yeah,
That's my
that's a
skill.
unique skill. That's yeah,
Yes. I'm actually not as good at a random idea. I can
okay,
think of ideas in context, but like
yeah.
when we were coming up with this, I'm like, oh, I would really like to do this. And so, this was kind of like one of the first ideas. And I came up with it jointly with somebody, which was great. But then it's like, okay, what are the basic things we need to do to get done to go from A to like, what, from A
And
to
you're good
Z?
at that.
That I can do. Yes.
Not a lot of people are not.
Yeah, I don't get overwhelmed. I
Yeah.
because I kind of because I immediately I'm like, oh, I naturally really prioritize. So I'm like, this needs to get done, and then this and this and this and this and this, right? So I'm like, well, first we need to hire photographers. If we have photographers, do we have like a schedule with them? We have to have a schedule. Do we know how to pay them? Do we know like what are the rules? We should have a booklet for that. Like, so as we're going on, like, I'm just plowing through massive amounts of work, just being like, how, what's the bare minimum we need to do to get it to like work in the first place. So, it was a lot of very systematic step by step things. And once you do something, I'm a
So
big
you're
just
creating like
trying.
operational worksheets as you go, like,
Yes.
so, and you
Just
go to the
doing it
next
as
person.
you go.
Right. Because then people take over and you go, all right, Bob, this is your job and this is how it works. Right. And you can't
Yeah.
just put it in your head,
Yes.
or else
So
you
like,
can't
yeah.
transfer anything to people.
And
Right.
and a lot of the stuff is like I did it myself in the beginning because I was like, how are we gonna pay photographers? I'm like, well, this is my worksheet. I'm like, okay, great. So
Right.
and it's great because once you figure it out, you can A, teach it to somebody, like B, kind of the ins and outs and what is inefficient, what needs to be innovated, what you've touched and what you've not done that for. So like that whole thing is like, I would say for running any small business, I don't like it's hard to do that if someone doesn't have a mind for that. You
Well,
know,
but maybe they need to figure that out early on. Like,
yeah, much sure.
if a lot of people are overwhelmed by stuff, and they just dealing with fires and they don't know which way to turn and they can't systematize things and they're not making lists. I mean, so
Yeah.
I think that if you, as a business owner in general, right, if you
Mm,
recognize that early on, then you better find somebody to work with you who is good at that,
yes.
or else you're not going to get from A to B to C to D to all the way to Q. It's just not going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can do that for myself. So that was like the great thing about working on, and I like doing it because you're bringing order to chaos.
Right.
We don't get derailed as easily, but that's definitely the thing you need to have. If you can't do it, finding someone who's really excellent at that, for
Right.
sure.
But as a CEO, then you can delegate that to
Yes.
someone else, because you
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing it, certainly.
Yeah, and it was like in the beginning, I was like, I'm just like the direct. There were like three of us. I
Just
was
the
like,
two
just
of
call
you,
me
three
like
of
the
you.
director of operations. That's actually technically what I do. But then as the business grew, we were like, oh, like I actually had, because I built everything
Yeah.
and I strategized everything. I was like, I guess I think I have to be the CEO. Like I
Right.
actually I can now make these decisions that make a lot of sense on behalf of the business because only I know the business in this particular
In,
way.
inside and
So
out.
it ended up
Right.
being, and that's how I kind of fell into it very accidentally. But they use the accidental
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Perfect.
Right. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did like, I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, but once I started doing it, I'm like, no, I absolutely have the skill set to do it. Like I love figuring out problems that don't have a solution. I like being creative. Like the moment that something comes up, like I'm very energized by that. Like I don't get overwhelmed. I really get very motivated to try to figure something out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you had a day shoot and you had two photographers and it was way oversubscribed,
Yeah.
You had
We're like,
hundreds
"Oh
of
my
people.
god,
You're
yes."
like, oh my God, we need like 10 more photographers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're getting your calendaring from one software and you're invoicing from another. Even it was a platform that we use as one of our sponsors to run our entire business. And there's other features like auto payments and integrations with QuickBooks. Visit evenue.com, EVONUE.com to learn more. There's also a link in the show notes. And be sure to tell them that the Accidental Entrepreneur referred you. This podcast is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor, iEmployee. iEmployee is a virtual assistant service that hires almost anyone for any role in your company right out of the Philippines. Most roles range from $7 to $9 an hour for highly skilled and experienced VAs. And whether you need an executive assistant, social media manager, video editor, customer service, sales, you name it, they have it. We use iEmployee for our VA services, from editing and promoting the podcast to all the PR and promotion of our law firm. iEmployee acts as a virtual field supervisor on the back end with live video monitoring and reports on a daily basis with screenshots of your VA's workday, and along with complete HR and payroll duties. No more paying for overpriced and underqualified workers. There's a link in the show notes to get a 1-week free trial, and I encourage you to take advantage of it.
Yeah. And so, what everyone who's been on our team long term is really good at is like, what are all of my different options? How do I spin through them really fast to figure out the fastest, most efficient, most affordable way to solve this? Like, you just get really good at doing that very fast.
Yeah. So are you in my area, New York, New
Yeah.
Jersey area?
I'm
Okay.
New Jersey. Yeah.
Got it. So a lot of stuff you're doing is in New York,
Yes. I
Manhattan,
mean,
things
we
like that.
have we have presence in 60 cities across the US, but we
Oh, I was
started
going to
in
ask
New
you that.
York.
60 now?
Yeah, we're at 60.
Okay. Yeah, but you
Yeah, but
don't need to. But your technology is not such that you need to like open an office there. I mean, right? If
yeah,
you're
we're
just
fully
dealing,
remote.
yeah, and you could get the permits and set everything up and do all kinds of stuff
Mhm.
and bring the people together, and hopefully they show up. I don't know how you do that, but you know what I mean.
We
So
figured
you
it out.
don't really need an office. They don't have to go to an office. They sign up
Yeah.
online, right?
Yeah.
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 So,
So
but with
it's
60, how many? What's your staff size?
we really have about like 11 full-time people and then like 5 part-time people, and the part-time people are all customer service.
And they're
So,
all
and
remote.
then and it's seasonal too. Like, we have more part-timers when we're closer to like fourth quarter, because that's when like all our demand happens in fourth quarter, because everyone wants holiday cards.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, but I mean, you must have runs like during like Valentine's time and during the
Yeah.
spring when people are getting engaged
Yeah,
and
the spring is our second kind of like
big.
mini busy season of like when the
Yeah.
flowers come out, when it's cherry blossom season, and when people are getting
Oh
engaged
yeah.
for sure. And then like graduation, Mother's Day, those kinds of photos.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, what? Give me an example of like a big challenge that you guys face, and you're like, oh my God, this is like ridiculous. Because business owners do this all the time, right? You obviously figured them out, I guess. But what was one you're looking back to say, "What I wish I knew this, and we could have solved that problem a lot easier."
Oh
Do you
man.
remember anything that was really challenging,
I mean,
like a
like everything.
disaster or something? Yeah.
I mean, there was a bug that we ended up having that like deleted a bunch of galleries for people. Like, it was like things like that cost us, I think, like $20,000.
Like you mean galleries? You mean like photos of people that have been
Yeah,
taken?
like, yeah, and it was just, yeah. And so it was like a really costly mistake that we just had to figure out how to make right. And the thing that I figured out, like, I'm not a yeller, so like stuff goes really wrong, and I'm like, as long as we can figure out how this cannot happen again and how to
Right.
like
Like no one's
figure
going to
this out.
die. It's
Yeah,
bad, but it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, so the photographers don't have backups of their stuff, and they upload them, and they can just upload them again. No.
I mean, sometimes people, yeah, like it's just like you run into everything. Like, somebody writes over other people's photos by mistake, and then
How,
like
how
that
can you do
happens
that?
because people make mistakes.
Okay.
Like the people's margin of error is high, right? And so
Yeah.
somebody like wrote over for whatever reason, because they actually use their memory card in a variety of different use cases, and so all of a sudden they wrote over somebody's maternity session, and it's always the biggest nightmare when it's maternity, because
Yeah.
it's so time sensitive. Like if you take a photo of a family, unless somebody is like the other was what we say is like maternity and cancer. So if someone's doing like
Oh,
a final photo shoot, I know it's like those were we try to be so sensitive and like perfect about because we
right.
understand how high the stakes are, but it happens. So like we just end up having to be like, what can we recover? Can we reshoot someone immediately? Like how like can we give them like 2 3 4 free sessions? Like how do we make up for this? Because this is like we never want to like minimize how much of an impact it is. So there's a lot of like problem solving like that, right? Because our service and our product is inherently a really emotional one. It's
Yeah.
really
You're
personal. Yeah.
capturing like a very, very special moment that you can't really artificially recreate. Well,
Yeah.
certainly if they die, you can't recreate it.
Yes.
And if they're giving birth, you definitely can't
Yes.
recreate that. So being a mom, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You could, I mean, if it was a photo shoot of a family, if it was done recently, then you could offer them a free this and then
Yes.
redo it and they're not happy, but it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be stressful.
So it is.
Yeah.
Like there's when it's stressful, like literally the entire team is trying to figure out what we can all kind of do together and trying to make that right. So there's like never a situation where we like just don't care. Oh, oftentimes we're just like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
how do we solve this? And like yeah.
Yeah,
So
because you do care. Look, I've heard stories about photographers going out of business, and you just had your wedding a month ago, and you never get your pictures.
yes. Some people
It's
never
terrible.
deliver photos.
Yeah,
We had a photographer not deliver photos who's they're no longer on our team, but like it, I don't exactly know what happened except to say that she lost 30 families photos right before Christmas. So that one we sent our lead photographer down to Dallas to reshoot everybody
oh my
because we weren't
god.
sure we were ever going to get those photos back.
Right, right,
Because yeah, so it's we get things like that too where that we also had to eat that cost, but we did it because we knew we had to.
right. Yeah, that's like the risk management mitigation side of
Yes.
your business, right? So how do you manage insurance, right? Because I guess the photographers have to have insurance, right? But if then
Yes.
they screw up, they're going to sue you anyway if they do actually sue, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you like? Is that some weird kind of insurance? Like what? Some
Um,
specialty
we
law?
have general insurance. Like, I think if someone's gonna sue us for just off color stuff, like there's like our insurance doesn't really cover that. We just
Yeah,
have to like try to minimize the impact of it. It happens. It's horrible. And I mean, I think once you go into business, you're like, oh my God, like people they were like, if you ever have any contractors in California, especially if you have a platform, some people will jump on your platform, work for like half an hour, and then sue you over
yeah,
like a technicality. There's like things like that.
yeah.
And
That's true.
so,
Labor lawsuits, things like
yes.
that. Yeah, a
And
lot of them they're few and far between, but yeah,
yeah, but they happen. And when they happen, it's just like we're more used to those things happening. We know that's just the risk of running a business.
yeah, it
But the first
absolutely
time
is.
it happens, you take it so personally because you're like, I don't understand.
Right.
Why couldn't you just
It's
talk
with
to us?
everything.
Yeah, we would have like, I don't understand. Yeah. So, you
I'm
know,
not even sure if photos get lost, like how you quantify that. If there is a quantifiable like result, like if somebody sued you because their pictures were lost and it was of their mom dying of cancer and they can't be replaced.
luckily that has not happened. Oh my
Good.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, that has not happened. But like typically like the reshoot thing often fixes it for them, or we giving them, and then sometimes if they also like had their hair done or makeup done professionally, we'll pay for that too. Like there's
Yeah.
just different things to make it right, and we always try to respond very personally when this stuff happens. Like
Yeah.
I think one of the arts of running a business is like you want to be professional, but sometimes you do have to be personal, and you have to know when to turn that on to be like we're
Definitely.
you know. So
Yeah.
we do that. I'll send a personal email. I'll like we try to make it right. And
Right.
I think it goes a long way. So for the most part, we've been able to avoid things like that, which is great.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
from a customer service standpoint, I think people in general, look, there's always trolls out there, right? But I think
Yes.
people in general understand ultimately when their emotions calm down a little bit
Yeah.
that things aren't done intentionally and things do happen. And if you're going as far as you possibly can as a company
Yeah.
to, make it
Make it
as
right.
yeah, to do the right thing, recognize that, hey, nobody's perfect and this person screwed up or this got lost or, and we're going to do this. I think ultimately that's all that people want. Like, I think when
Yeah.
people have bad experiences with companies and then the companies do the right thing, they generally have good things to say about the company. They're like, listen, I know they screwed up, but they did the right thing because so many people don't.
Yeah.
do the right thing, even if it costs them money.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and I think, or like people have not worked on themselves and they just get defensive. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why would you do that? Why just
Right.
don't like you have to figure out how to take accountability in a way that other people
Yeah.
understand that you're taking it seriously. And so we're, we always try to practice that. And so like, you see for the most part that most people, even if they can get really angry, they're normal people. Like they're not out to sue you for no reason.
Right.
That's like 98% of people. There are 2% of people that will do dirty things.
Well, they'll do it anyway.
I know those people ruin it for everybody else. Like we have so many
They do.
policies that are like a lot of the minutia of our policies have come about because of that 2%,
Of course.
right? And that's because you're like, we can't have this happen again. Like you're gonna like completely take our business on behalf of like all the 900 photographers. We're not going to be able to support anybody anymore because you decided to be a selfish jerk, right? So
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, sometimes depending on what you do for a living, you could think that we're a very litigious society, but we're really not. I have a friend of mine who's a criminal lawyer. He thinks everybody's a criminal. I'm like, no, it's just that people you deal with are all criminals. That's not. They're like, why don't
that's
you send me
definitely,
any
yeah.
business? I go, because my clients aren't breaking the law. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's all perspective. So
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard depending like what you're around and who you're around for sure.
definitely. So you were saying, so you have 900 photographers, 1,000 photographers on your platform.
Ish. Yeah, ish. Depending. It's seasonal, but right
Goes
now
up
I
and
think we're
down.
around 900. Yeah,
Right.
if
They're
not
not
a
all
little
active at the same time.
more.
Okay. And then how many customers have you been able to procure, if that's the right word?
Yeah, I think we're somewhere
Consumer
like
side.
close to 300K
Okay.
in that range.
And
Yeah,
that's revenue. So how many people does that? Oh,
people,
300,000 people.
people. Yeah,
Got it. And it's mostly individuals. You're not dealing with businesses
we
that
have
much?
some. We have like a business arm too that is relatively new, where we
Okay.
do group headshots. We do like a headshot station at conferences, things like that, which people really enjoy. But most of our bread and butter is on the consumer side for sure.
Okay. So how long have you been in business now?
We've been in business for like a little over 7 years.
Okay. So good chunk. You certainly passed the window of,
Yeah.
high failure rate and stuff like that. Have
Yeah.
you raised any capital?
We did in the beginning. I think
Okay.
we were growing very exponentially the first like 2, 3 years. And started to look like, oh my God, like this was going to be like a hockey stick of growth trajectory. Um, and so we raised a bit of friends and family funding at that time, which was
Okay.
great. And then that dried up because our digital marketing hit a real snag because Apple had their iOS, I think it was 14.5, where all of a sudden their targeting, which was very effective before, it lost all that visibility. And so if we used to be able to get a client at $20, sometimes it was like $200. So we had to learn
Oh,
marketing from
wow.
scratch then. Because when we first started, we could put any ad up. It didn't even matter. It would find the right people immediately. And once people find us, they really love us if
Yeah.
it's the right demographic, which we say is like, millennial and Gen Z moms.
Yeah.
But once it's not as effective to do that, we just have to try so much harder to find the right client.
Like as algorithms change, you mean, and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
algorithms really changed based on, privacy and everything.
Yeah.
And that ended up being very hard for a lot of direct to consumer companies. I mean, we were one of them.
What's do you have an exit strategy, or what's the next step? You just keep growing?
I
It
mean, I
doesn't
think
sound
we're
to me
very
like you just
open.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person where like I don't need an outcome to be a very specific way.
Okay.
I just know like the contours of how I want it to feel. And I want it to feel like all of us did our best and we maximized the return that we got for our effort. So if that means running it continuously and then ultimately we can pay ourselves dividends in the future because we're that profitable, great. Otherwise, like if we can sell and we can get, we get bought out by somebody who's really fantastic, whose work we trust, and we have a great working relationship with them, we're also open to that. So like, or if we happen to, it's this is not in the ether at all, but like if we ever are able to get like VC funding for something to really scale in a different kind of way, great. So I think
You're
it's
open.
just like I have such a great core team. So I just
Right.
kind of wish that we can keep working together because like when we work on something, we're able to like innovate and execute so fast. And you just don't get that in most places. Everything's a drag or everything
Right.
is like you're waiting for bureaucracy or red tape. We don't work like that at all. We're
Yeah.
super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why. Well, that's why you get acquired, because companies can't do things
Yeah.
efficiently and is at the speed that you do. But ultimately, I think people. I don't care if it's a VC or angel investors or a large corporation. They're investing in the people that are behind the business. Like the business strategy can be, because that's why these things fail, right? Because they don't
Yeah.
recognize that, right? They bring you in, they get rid of all kinds of people. They take your technology, they think they can put it on their own platform, and it was really the people that were driving
Yeah.
the innovation and all that kind of stuff. So you mentioned a lot though that a lot of it is intellectual property,
Yeah.
right? Your systems that you've built, right?
Yeah.
But I would think that that's not like specific to, like, you can only use that technology in this one little microcosm of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, it is more transferable to other
You could, yeah,
industries.
you could definitely apply it to other things for sure. Um, it's just like, it's just at that point in time, then it's like, how, like, what demand are we like going towards? Like, how do we find that new audience? Like, is it worth it to like figure that whole thing out again? But the tech part's kind of the easy part because of how we work.
So what would you say is your technology platform? Like, how does it work, and why does it
Yeah,
work?
I would say like we're really good at figuring out tools for like we have a very proprietary scheduler. So figuring how to optimize like a schedule for like 900 people
Okay.
across 60 cities in a way that is like that we can manage
Yeah.
is like we had to really kind of spec that out. Like what does it look like? Like what options do we need to have? Like what's the functionality? Then like also what is the experience for the photographers, because they're in a way a separate set of clients for us. Yes,
Yeah.
they're working on our behalf, but we have to make sure that they can successfully work on our behalf.
Yeah, because then
Those
you don't make
people,
money.
same
Right.
thing. Like we have to figure out how to really make that streamlined so they like being part of our platform.
So it's easy for them. It's like Calendly on crack.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so it's things like, yeah. So we have to, it's all those types of things.
Is it all web based? Everything's online, or you have an app
Yeah,
that they
web
use so they
based.
can do it in the field or whatever?
No, we right now everything's web based.
But they still do it on their phone. It's probably a little bit harder though.
Yeah, like there's, oh yeah, there, it has to have mobile functionality, but we don't have a separate app. But yeah, it's web based.
Got it. Okay. So you made me think of something when you're saying about the uh, the functionality of things. So what I think I was going to ask you is, when someone comes on your platform, right? Like a
Mhm.
new photographer, let's say, is do they just plug themselves into like an event? Like what's the experience there?
Yeah, so we have like a really rigorous, like it's rigorous for them to even like interview and go through that whole process. And then we have
Okay.
like a rigorous onboarding process where we have like a video of them walking through stuff. We show them like we show them where things are. They have like a written guide too that they can follow. So we constantly give them resources that we've developed so that they can succeed, because it is an overwhelming amount of, it can be an overwhelming amount of information to ingest and figure out how to make your own. So we try to really kind of guide them through that process.
Right. But they get vetted. I mean, you have to qualify.
Yeah.
I can't just go out and enroll and say I
Yeah.
have
No. No.
fake, right? Because then you got quality control issues,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
customer service issues. The people,
Yeah.
the customers they can all sign up all day they want as long as they pay, right?
Yeah.
Not the photographers.
Yeah.
Got
That's
it.
right. So like, yeah, the client, as long the client, just has to book a session, and behave, you know, they
That
can't
doesn't always
sexually
happen.
harass anyone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta be professional.
Yeah.
And but the photographers are very vetted. So it's like, I think we only accept like 2 to 5% of applicants.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Like you
A
get
lot,
100 applicants and only 2 to 5 of them are really qualified to
yeah.
be there. Is that bad? Huh? Everybody wants to be a photographer. None of them are.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Yeah, there's a little bit of that where,
Yeah.
and or sometimes people are talented but they don't shoot in our style. So like, when people are booking with us, they see the photos on our website, on our Instagram. You need to be able to like go in that ballpark of aesthetics, right? And some people
Right.
just don't really work like that. So for example, if you're like a concert photographer, you may not really be able to work that way. Now we always say like, hey, we fully intend, we want to be a supplement, we want to, ideally you could work, everyone could work for us. The thing is,
Right.
like, if you can't work for us now, work on your craft, we can always reapply. And then we actually started doing like a training program too, where our lead photographer is so great at teaching people, and is like the biggest photography nerd. So like he's able to really get people up to speed, and close that gap for some folks.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because if somebody, everything's very visual, right? So if somebody goes to your website and they sign up for headshots and they see a whole litany of photographs, they kind of have a little expectation. And the
Yes.
reason they signed up was because they kind of
Yes.
felt like that looked good. They would get
Yes.
something totally different. They're like, ugh.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
kind of you have to just deliver in that ballpark.
So do you do it like quarterly on a quarterly basis where you accept people, or is it just rolling? Because I know
Rolling.
some. Oh, okay. Because I know some sites that are like consulting website platform communities,
Uh-huh.
and they take applications and they only accept like quarterly or whatever. So I didn't
Oh,
know if
I
you.
mean, like we take off a little bit, like in first quarter because there's just less demand. So like we don't want to hire people just for them to not work as much. So like, but we really start to ramp it up. Like honestly, we really only take off like January and Feb, and then we look to see what is the demand in each different city. So there's certain cities where like we can't hire enough photographers to meet the demand.
Really?
Yeah, like like New Jersey is being one of them. Actually, there's so many families here,
Yeah.
and then or like DC, like it's just Dallas, Boston, Connecticut.
Big
Like there's
area.
just anything that's has like a kind of a huge suburb. And then so we'll be careful that we don't. Sorry for those that we'll have to always keep hiring. For other places where there's not as much as demand, we'll try to make sure that the people who are on our team are getting a fair enough amount of sessions before we like add and like dilute them even more, if that makes sense.
Got it. And you have a process where a team reviews their application and then it goes to another group and they,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right? You go through the whole
yeah.
process.
Hmm.
So what's the, not pricing, but what's the price and profit model? Like, are you making money on both sides of the transaction? The people sign up, like the photographers have to sign up and
Mm.
do the thing. People
We
obviously have to pay
only
for their
we
photos, but
Right. We make money off of the client. So it actually locks us into this relationship where, like, if the photographer does well,
Mhm.
then everybody wins. So if they produce really good work and if we find the right clients, it's a win-win-win, literally for all three of us. If the photographer doesn't sell very much, so like they also have a minimum guarantee. Like if they show up, they're getting $100 per shooting hour. So in order for us to make sure we
Okay.
don't bankrupt, we have to make sure that we hire the best people. It's like this really interesting accountability circle of like we have to hire the right people, we also have to find the right clients. If we're able to do that, it does self-support in that, like, we do have that minimum guarantee, but on average our photographers are making, at least in 2024, they were making between 166 and like $200 per photography hour. And so like in order to sustain that, like it's we're all tied together, if that makes sense. Their
Yeah.
success
So,
is our success.
but you set the pricing on the
Yeah, so
consumer
it's
side?
yes. Yeah, yeah. So it's free to book, right? So it's a risk-free thing that's our hook to get people in. And
Okay.
then you only pay for the photos you want, and the photos start at $25 a photo. Or there's a lot of package. We say like the more you buy, the more you save.
Right.
So you could get 10 for 180, and that includes some retouching credits, or you can get all your photos for like 298, which is really great. Because it includes all the photos and then some more retouching credit, things like that. So that ends up being, a very good deal on a per photo basis.
Got it. So if I'm a photographer, I don't have to worry about my pricing or,
No.
I mean, I guess I want to know what the pricing is
Yeah.
because maybe, right now, it's interesting. Do you find, and I deal with a lot of professionals, right?
Yeah.
So that charge by the hour and have
Mhm.
rates. Do you find that photographers tend to underprice their work? Like when they come to you, that you are kind of in line with what they were charging before, or they're like,
Oh.
oh, I should, and you're like, you're not charging enough?
So it really varies.
Okay.
There's some people, so like there's some people who are charging like $500 an hour. Those people generally don't want to work for us.
Right.
And then I'm like, listen, if you can find enough demand yourself, more power to you. I fully support you, but like we're not a good fit for you. It doesn't make
Right.
sense. But for people who are kind of like both mid-range and like maybe a little earlier in their career, it's definitely a great price point. And it's like really accessible for the client. The You don't have, pay only for what you love thing really gets people in the door. And then yeah, and then just the volume we're able to drive because of that. I think the hardest thing to replicate is the volume, because like they can charge something similar,
Right.
but
But they
then
can't fill their schedule.
yeah, like they've got to do all the business activities. So their time, what they're not thinking about is how much time we're saving them, even though our pricing looks similar.
Right.
if that
They
makes
do
sense.
twice
Yeah.
the amount of work because they're not
Yes.
doing all
Because
this
yeah,
stuff.
they have to do the customer service. They've got to figure out the permit. They've got to figure out their schedule. They've got to like, how do you find clients? They've got to put up ads or whatever it is they do to get clients. So
Right.
that activity we supplement, right? But it just depends whether or not they like doing that stuff and can do that stuff for themselves, or whether they would prefer to outsource it.
And do people, you said people do not pay for the session. They just pay if they
Yeah.
buy photographs.
Yeah.
So if they hate the photograph, so it's kind of pressure on you guys to
Yeah. To
get
hire the
good,
best people. Yeah.
to come up with a good product.
Now listen, if someone does not buy photos, or they buy less than like I think the number's like 100, then
Yeah.
we make them prepay the next time. You have to prepay like 100, but it'll apply to your
Yeah.
photos. But we can't have you be like, I just want a free, because there's
Right.
some
They're
people who
just
just
using the system.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have quite a number of safeguards in there, right? So like for example, if clients are late, we charge them. If they are no show, we charge them. So there's like different things that we do to try to protect literally everybody else's time, so
Right.
that even though
Because
there
you
is
have
a
to pay the photographer either way. You said you pay
yes,
him at least $100 an hour. So if it's no shows,
absolutely.
you're screwed.
So yeah, so we have to be super careful about who we're allowing in as a client. So we try to be really mindful of all the rules that we have and be like, it's free, but it's not cheap. So like you can't just mistreat it, you know?
Yeah. You can't take advantage of it. Well, because the
Yeah,
whole system would break down.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. Now, do
Absolutely.
you also have, like, you can't be batting 1,000 with picking the photographers, right? So there
Yeah,
must be a situation where you pick a photographer and you're filling them up and they're doing their
yeah,
work, but you're just not selling a lot of photographs. Do you monitor that as well? Like, do you
yes.
track? Yeah.
Yeah, we try to
Is there a
monitor that.
score?
Yes, so there's a client, so the clients rate them also. So
Okay.
we see what their like client rating
Right.
score is, and then we also see what their sales are. And so,
Yeah.
sometimes when we do that, we catch that some people are trying to poach clients off of our system. So they'll like take photos with them and then they'll try to sell behind our back. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why are their average sales like $50? That doesn't make
Right.
sense. Like our average photographer sells usually like 180, 190 a
Yeah.
session, right? And so it's like, we have to be very numbers based and look at everything to see what's happening, because that's when you start figuring out like, oh, this is a weakness of our system, this person is taking advantage of the system, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Upwork does that all the time. You connect with somebody on Upwork and then eventually start working with them. Then they're like, listen, if you just pay me directly,
Yeah,
you could pay me less and I'll make more,
yeah,
and then they're going around, they're circumventing the system, and then the
yeah,
whole thing breaks down.
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. Have you had a lot of that or not really? Terribly?
We have a measure of it. And so, it's just always annoying. We're like, really? Like,
Well, because it's almost like personally abusive. Like
of
they're
course.
they're taking advantage of you. You're doing all this wonderful stuff, and
I
then in
know, but they
addition,
don't think of us as people, right?
no,
Like
of course not.
oftentimes they're like, you guys are a company. And I'm like,
Come on, you
you're a
work for a big corporation, right? Yeah,
yeah. And I'm
exactly.
like, there's like 11 of us. And a
Right,
lot of us have to
exactly.
like, are trying to afford just being alive. Like
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah,
So, and we're also, because we're a startup, we're working a lot. So,
yeah.
it's hard. Obviously we try not to take things too personally and be like, well, that's,
No,
but
but that
it's
you
just
got to get them out of the system. Yeah, it's just a
yeah.
suck on everybody, and it
Yeah.
hurts everybody. So here's a question for you: over your shoulder, your left shoulder, is something that says "Entreprenista 100." It says "Congratulations" at the top. So what's that?
Oh, that's an award that me and my co-founder won this past year,
Nice,
for our Entrepreneurship, a community of female founders. And so we were like, hey, can we? They had an award, and I'm like, let's apply, and we won it. And so
nice.
there's a cohort of like a bunch of other women. I think it's I'm one of like we're one of like 100 women. So it's a great it's a great community.
So they sent you a piece of paper. They couldn't frame it or put
Oh
it
no,
in
I have
something.
other stuff, but I can't like fit like this
Oh,
there's like an actual like tombstone thingy. Like it's
got
yeah,
it. You got something decent.
I did get something.
That's funny. All right. So any party? I mean, we've been on for almost an hour. So any like advice for somebody who's starting up a business? I mean, you're an entrepreneur now. You've been doing this for a long time. So anything, if you're out there and you're starting a business, do you have advice, good, bad, otherwise, that you would
I,
do differently?
I mean, I would always say that like stay out of your own head, meaning you don't discover and figure things out by like only thinking about it, and I would say ruminating on it. like the more that you want to try something, you just have to try different things. Like, when we were first building the business, I'm like, I don't quite know how to do some of these things. Let me just see what step one is and just doing it. And if you stay in the doing, you naturally learn and you feed yourself and then you keep growing and then you will figure it out. If everything is figure outable, it's just like a
Right.
small piece that you have
Just
to
don't
just
overthink
interact with.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And because like you can spend so much time like convincing yourself not to do something or being like, well,
Yeah.
what if this happens? What if that? But it doesn't help to, in a way, think about those things, or just stay thinking about those things. Like stay in action and then learn from the action, and always take accountability for what you're doing. And like if you handle things that way
In
and
stride.
supplement with, yeah,
Yeah.
you figure it
Seem
out.
like you seem like a low stress person, so it's not like you could take things in stride, right?
Yes, it's so funny. My co-founder were just talking about that today. I was like, I actually don't. This is a stressful job. Don't get me wrong.
I'm
I've been
sure it
really
is.
stressed,
It's always
but
stressful running a business. Yeah.
I sleep totally fine because I can really figure out. I'm like, these are the things that are in my control.
Right.
These are the things I'm going to focus on. I just have to do 3 to 5 things a day that push things in the right direction. If I just do that every day, it keeps moving.
Right. You feel like you have control. You have your hands handle around
Yeah,
things, and something will fall off the boat, but you can grab it
but I
and
don't
pull it back
obsess
up.
about anything.
Right, because
No,
it's going to happen and whatever it is. I think
yeah,
people think, or they try, if the, like the word you use, getting stuck in your own head,
yeah.
like all the lights have to be green before you go to town. Like that's the expression that I use because you
Oh
can't
yeah,
do that. That's not possible. Like
yeah.
you just have to try it and, write it down and write down what didn't work, write down what did work and kind of work it out. And I think 9 out of the 10 things that we worry about don't happen. Maybe 8 out of the
That's
10.
correct. Yeah.
They don't happen.
Or like even if I'm worrying about, for example, getting sued, you will always get sued in a way you don't anticipate.
Correct.
So
Not the
like
ones you
all of
do
that mental
anticipate.
energy should
Right.
be towards solving something versus being like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? I'm like, no, be kinder to yourself. Don't even do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's no, you shouldn't even like, yeah, like stay in the place of like positivity and productivity. And if you're able to do that, you will get so much farther.
Yeah. I'm just like you. And I encourage people to, be the kind of person that writes things down and keeps track of stuff because get it out of your head, put it down, forget about it. You can go back to it later on.
Yes,
You're like, what did we do when we did that, when we had that problem? Because you won't remember.
that's
Like your
true.
brain doesn't work that way. As smart as some people are and as good as you are at remembering things, it's just your brain doesn't work that
Yeah.
way. There's
Yeah,
just
have a spreadsheet of all the decisions you made on what date, and then you
yeah,
know that you logged it, and then you go and revisit it later, but you don't want to hold on to things.
that's it.
Whatever you need to personally do to not hold on to energy, whether it's a worry or, whatever,
Right.
or a to-do list even, just have it
Yeah.
on a project management system, have a notebook, whatever you do. Like, we put everything into Monday now.
Yeah. I
And
do a
then
lot
I'm
on
like, okay,
Monday.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because my kids tell me things. They ask me to do stuff. I'm like, listen, you got to send me an email. Like you
Yes, we
have to
see the
send me
same
an email.
thing.
It'll be in my box. I will take care of it. And
Yes.
they make fun of me. They are just, yeah, dad can't remember anything. Oh, got to send him an email. I'm like, look, I come into my office. I got 100 emails in my box.
Yes.
I have a chart here that says important, urgent, pending and not so. And the names move around and the stuff comes in and I'm doing work for you and you call me up and you say, Mitch, we just got a contract and we got a big deal going on and we have to close. So I stop what I'm doing on something else that could wait maybe a day or two and I push you into the list. And I can't do that in my head. That's impossible.
Yeah, no.
Get
You
it
have to
back.
have one source of truth. And I also use my inbox the same way.
Yeah. Inbox. Are you a zero inbox person?
Yeah. Like I know what I've like what I haven't read, I know
You
I
have
have to deal with.
10,000 emails in your inbox?
No.
No.
No. Like like
You
everything
file
is
everything away.
filed. Yeah, yeah. Because then I know what I haven't done.
Yes,
So nothing falls
exactly.
through the cracks. I don't know why people don't work like this. My husband doesn't work like this. I'm just like,
Neither
how do
does
you
my
live?
wife. My wife
Um,
she just does a search for your name and she'll find, I'm like, she doesn't categorize anything. And doesn't your inbox crap out at some point if you had like 50,000 emails in your
Probably.
inbox?
And then like they're gonna miss stuff, and that
Yes.
scares me.
I will miss stuff. It scares me too. I can't, and the day I get to zero in the inbox, then I'm thinking, oh my God, I must have missed something. How can it be
Yeah.
zero? You know? I also
Absolutely.
snooze emails. I'm crazy. I snooze emails. I schedule emails. If
Yeah.
I can't deal with it now and I got to deal with it later, I don't want to I'll star it if I got it, I'm just, yeah, I'm a little OCD, I think. Maybe it's not good.
No, it's great. Like
Yeah.
we all have to have a
We
system that
function.
works for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you're not in therapy, you're good. So, yeah. Jennifer, I can't thank you enough for
Yeah.
coming on the show and sharing your all your knowledge and your experience. So it's Shoott. It's going to be in the show notes, but it's shoott.com, SHOOTT, right?
That's correct.
.com. And if anybody's listening and they're looking to get headshots or they're looking to,
Family
they're getting
photos, holiday
engaged, family
cards,
photos,
anything.
right?
Yeah.
Go there and support the business, and
Thank
we'll
you.
watch your journey through this whole thing.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jennifer.
All right, thanks.
Let's stop the thing. Let's see, where's my mouse? There we go. In addition to being a podcast host, I'm also a small business attorney, mostly providing legal services in New York and New Jersey. With over 3 decades of experience, we can handle most transactional issues. So if you're watching the show and you encounter some sort of legal issue, reach out to us and visit our website, beinhakerlaw.com. Thanks for tuning into the show and for continuing to support us.